the American people stand firm in the faith which has inspired this nation from the beginning. We believe that all men have a right to equal justice under law and equal opportunity to share in the common good. We believe that all men have the right to freedom of thought and expression. We believe that all men are created equal because they are created in the image of God. From this faith, we will not be moved.
Hello and welcome to the Freedom of Thought podcast. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Freedom of Thought is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. As today, we've been seeing some weird sightings. You could call it UFOs, you could call it drones, you could call it this, you could call it that. What's really going on with all of that? Is it our own government just kind of playing around? Is it other governments kind of playing with us, saying, yeah, look what we can do. You know, what are you going to do to us? We can get right through all of your quote-unquote sophisticated defense systems. This and that, like maybe like a warning to Trump, like don't try to do too much because look how weak your government already is with Biden and all that. I mean, what are you going to do now? So I'm not completely sure what to make of all that, other than, getting closer and closer to the end times, no doubt. We are, most of us, I'd say, very happy to have Trump getting in office soon. Unfortunately, he's not yet, and we are still stuck with the current reprobate Joe Biden administration. They're seeing kind of drone machines floating around New Jersey and such, but in other areas as well, supposedly other parts of the country. And also I kind of wanted to generally get into the topic of the quote-unquote alien encounters people have been seeing. And it seems to fit very closely to other features, other beings people have been seeing in general that kind of tie towards the supernatural much more than some type of an alien race, especially the Nordic aliens, because there's 3 different categories that tend to be the most common. We're going to get into that on this episode. So it's going to be a bit more of a aliens kind of an episode without really being like the movie Aliens. It's not really, I don't believe this is creatures from Mars or the Pleiades or anything like that, though we'll get to conversation as to which of these encounters people think are from that area, but that's just a conversation. Where do we start with this other than, I don't know, what the heck is going on in New Jersey? So Forbes magazine, or Forbes, whatever it is, I guess it's Forbes magazine, talking about for weeks citizens across New Jersey, as well as New York, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut have reported seeing clusters of drone-like objects flying low in the sky at night, yet information remains scarce. Even as state officials now say they've seen the drones firsthand, received mixed information from federal agencies, and pushed the FBI for answers. Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas, one of the real great ones out there. Told ABC News on Sunday, there's no question, and unfortunately that's not this Sunday, so there's no question that people are seeing drones, though some of the recent sightings in New Jersey and other East Coast states might be manned aircrafts or duplicates. Mayorkas said officials have deployed extra resources to look into the sightings and will let the public know if there is reason for concern. We are on it, he said, but so far there's no indication of foreign involvement, and some of the sightings could be linked to a Federal Aviation Administration rule change last year to let drones fly at night. Interesting. Very interesting. Some people believe this could be like a China or something kind of playing with us, or I don't know. I mean, it's like it says in the Bible, wars, rumors of wars. This could be somebody with a shot across the bow showing, again, like, your surveillance isn't jack bleep, and look what we can do, Or it's just, again, our own government trying to scare us, our own government trying to, who knows, manipulate us into believing in aliens, when in reality, some of the stuff that could be some of the stuff we could have been seeing over the years could be more of the supernatural variety. Angels, fallen angels, that type of thing. Yeah. Angels and fallen angels, maybe other principalities out there that are definitely not on our side. And, we try to turn them into what they want us to believe, that they are the creators of the human race, that they're just an advanced, they're just an advanced race, and that they created us. That's kind of like the mission that a lot of these deceptive forces have been after for a significant amount of time, to be quite honest. So definitely reasons for concern for all of us, in terms of, like, don't listen to this nonsense. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Stick to the Bible at the end of the day. So we know who created us. God created us, not these other creatures. And I think it's exactly what this what the New World Order wants us to believe, is this other thing. And then at the end of the day, we can make peace with them, and then we'll have our New World Order and all of that. And that, it's trying to remove God from everything. And that's kind of the mission of these powers and principalities. But at the end of the day, we have power over these powers and principalities. Pardon me. So some of the lists of sightings that, or, like encounters, people have had over the years. There's a couple of weird ones, but then there's the big three. So a couple of weird ones. Flatwoods monster. It's out there. Tall humanoid with a spade-shaped head. Okay, maybe that's, who knows? I mean, that's another thing. It could also be, again, another principality or something out there that's not good. Hopkinsville goblin. Small, greenish, silver humanoids. All right, that's really interesting. Little green men. That's something you kind of think of a stereotype, like Martians or something, like, yes, we are from Mars. Yes. That'd be from, of course, Looney Tunes, Marvin the Martian. Diminutive green humanoids, even though a few abductions have referred to green skin. Yeah, green skin. Yes, that's leading towards something else. No report has ever involved anything that would fit the classic cultural stereotype of little green men. They are included here only for cultural reference. Yes, exactly. We'll get to the big three very shortly. Then you get these other really crazy ones. Crazy, but actually this absolutely, I think, is tied to very likely the demonic realm. Demonic, not demonic, or even what they call chimeras, which is like, again, how a Nephilim or Rephaim giants, stuff like that. It's the angel was a fallen angel was the father, and a human woman was the mother, that kind of thing, and that's how you get these giants. A chimera is when the fallen angel gets with an animal type creature. Gets with an animal to form, like, literally a monster. Like, say, like a gargoyle, that could be a chimera, that type of thing. But like a gargoyle, that's another conversation we're going to get to in a little bit. And again, more likely demons are tied more to this type of stuff versus, like, say, fallen angels. Fallen angels are above the demons, and they're very powerful and very evil. They are the small g's, if you know what I mean, the small g gods, like Ra, and, you could go on for a while. Even some of them might have been Nephilim, even below the fallen angels, but like the Ra, the Zeus, all those creatures, Aphrodite, They're 99% chance they're fallen angels. Yeah, it's like they're real, but they're not good. They're not God. So, crypto animals, cryptozoological animals, the Mothman. Yeah, that could be for another paranormal type episode on my side of things. Nudge, nudge. The Mothman. Yeah. Yep, see, also American folklore. So we will talk about the Mothman at a later date. But let me tell you, that is one scary looking something. Very scary. Jersey Devil. You know the hockey team, the New Jersey Devils? It came from something. So apparently that's some kind of a cryptoid thing out there that is probably a chimera type of a creature, if it's real, and it probably is, unfortunately. Loch Ness Monster, Nessie. You know, it's like it's a dinosaur type of sea monster. Loch Ness Monster, fascinating thing, but again, it's more than likely a chimera giant as well. These are giant creatures. They're giants. They're giants, but like it's an animal with the angel type of thing. And that's where some of these myths come from, you know, like a sphinx and such. A lot of these myths are real. They just, they're isolated, but they're real. African Nomo, interesting. Mokele Membi, that sounds African to me. Yokai, that sounds more like Hawaii. I don't know. Yokai, that looks like whoa. Well, it's like a monster. It's like some kind of monster with a weapon. One-eyed creature is one of them too, like a cyclops, but it's an animal. It's a monster. You know, it's hard to even explain. This Membe looks more like a dinosaur. Loch Ness Monster. Yep, that's a long kind of. It's not like no, it's not like Leviathan, which is more kind of like a huge sea serpent type thing. The Loch Ness Monster is closer to being a dinosaur. I don't know what the heck. That's a real weird one. Wow, that's weird. Aztec mythology, the Quinn Metzen. Okay, this is via Wikipedia, just to kind of have as a cheat sheet, but it's very, very useful information at the very least for conversation. Populated the world during the previous year of the Son of Rain. What the heck? So, yes, again, and it's a small g type of thing. So, yes, punished by the small g gods because they did not, gods, it's small g, they did not venerate them. Very weird. Weird stuff. Raphaite, that sounds like a Rephaim giant. Yes, and it is. Yes, yep, those are Rephaim giants. That's a person, more of like a giant. Giant during the, you know, it's like a Nephilim, maybe like a later stage where they weren't as tall, but they were still very much giants. Like King Og was, 12 feet tall? He's real. He's in the Bible. King Og, yes. He had a bed that was 15 feet long. Yeah, he was a 12-foot giant. He was a king, and he was defeated in the Joshua era, I do believe. You have Deuteronomy. Loveland Frogman. What the? Ohio folklore. The Loveland Frog. A legendary humanoid frog described. Okay, so that's an interesting one. Okay, man, they just go on forever. Orion. Okay, well that's part of that's a weird. Now we'll get off that for a minute. Okay, the big three. Apologize. Well, there's one more. Draconian. Yeah, that's kind of a scary thing as well. Okay, the big three. Reptilians or reptilioids. Real. They're real. And a lot of them are actually in hell. Remember the story that people have had multiple stories of lizard man, people like that. They're in hell. They're like they're kind of like, well, they're part of the beings that torment and harass people that are in hell, basically. But apparently also they're part of this UFO abduction nonsense as well. But I wouldn't doubt that they've been taking people down there, like in a dark place, so to speak. Reptilians, they're part of that. Tall, scaly humanoids. Some are tall, some are not, by the way. Tall, scaly humanoids, reptilian humanoid beings date back to at least as far as ancient Egypt, with the crocodile-headed river small g god Sobek. The reptilian conspiracy theory has been advocated by David Icke. Okay, he's been on Alex Jones a million times. Yeah, and, well, they are real. People that have had, visions of hell, and such. They were brought down there, that out-of-body experiences. They were brought down there. They experienced the reptilians. That's real. That gets the green check mark. Absolutely real. The other one, of course, gray aliens. Now, how many people have seen gray aliens? I'm not raising my hand because I've not. That's probably a good thing. It'd be scary. They're small, but I also wouldn't doubt that they might be part of this whole little people thing. People talk about little people, though maybe not all of it. Maybe they're more humanoids than gray is. But gray-skinned, like the most stereotypical alien setting there is, grays. Gray-skinned, sometimes green-skinned. See? Yeah. Humanoids, usually 1 meter, so about, in between 3 and 4 feet tall. Hairless, large heads, black almond-shaped eyes, nostrils without a nose, slits for mouths, no ears, and 3 or 4 fingers, including a thumb. Greys have been the predominant extraterrestrial beings of alleged alien contact since the 60s. So even like E.T. technically would be kind of like a gray alien. That's basically what he is, like a shorter thing with that, funny shaped head, bigger eyes, and just a few, like 3 or 4 fingers, whatever, that type of deal, including the thumb. So that's kind of what E.T. was. And yes, they've been sighted. But I think they're also part of possibly ancient civilization pre-Adamic. And they're unfortunately, they're unfortunately more than likely working with Lucifer. More than likely, they could be, again, a huge part of things. Maybe they are just aliens, but I honestly believe that they are part of a race that was here pre-Adamic, and that they're kind of like the demons now. They're kind of like basically what demons are now, because they're kind of in between heaven and hell, that kind of thing. And they are, it's they were wiped out in the gap. So they call it a theory, the gap theory, from God created the heavens and the earth became formless and void. And then many years later, that's my strong belief that there was a pre-Adamic civilization that was destroyed with the fall of Lucifer. And I do believe that the Greys and the lizard men type creatures were a part of that. Absolutely, I do believe that. That's my personal belief, and it's up to you what you believe. But that's kind of where I stand when it comes to this conversation. Not saying I'm right, not saying that that anybody else that disagrees is wrong, but the fact that these have been cited more and more and more times, I do think there's something to it. Plus the fact that there's been all types of, just sighting after sighting after sighting. What's it called? Like, it looked like a giant tic-tac shaped UFO. The flying saucers, that type of deal. I've seen something definitely that would classify as a UFO. Absolutely. And it does. And I saw it the first time I saw it was in, I believe it was November, 2023. A bright light in the sky, dark, starry night, beautiful night, beautiful fall night, very bright light suddenly in the sky, and then it just disappeared. And then it reappeared somewhere else, a little bit further away, really bright, and then it gradually kind of faded away, disappeared again. And then a really, really, really bright light. Again, this is like, and it would be like in a different spot over and over again. It would be in a very irregular pattern. You know how a plane moves on it moves on a line. A satellite moves on an orbit, which is also a line. This was doing none of that. And I was like, okay, what was that? And my mom said, oh, that's just a plane. You just saw, the light was just kind of shining right at you. Because, when a plane, the front lights, sometimes when they shine on you, it's insanely bright. But it kept happening from different angles and different spots in the sky. I'm not crazy, okay? I'm not crazy. It kept happening. Because you know why I'm not crazy? Spring of 2024, my nephews and I think it was either April or May this past year, we were having a fire outside. My favorite thing to do practically on a Saturday night. Fire pit outside. In this case, at my parents' house, so it's the same area. I haven't seen it just a few miles away where I also live in Golden Valley, Minnesota. Closer to Highway 100, I guess you could say, but I don't know. They're both close to 100. I'm just further north. So what am I trying to say? We were having the fire, and what happened? It happened again. because I had told them about the previous UFO type thing, and they didn't really respond. It was a text. I'm like, what did I see in the sky? That was the darndest thing. No response. But then they were like, yeah, that's interesting, blah, blah, blah. Like later on when we talked later on, because we did play poker at times in the winter when you can't have a fire pit outside. It happened again. And I said, see, guys, I'm not crazy. I had the biggest smile on my face. Look at that. And they're like, wow, that is crazy. It's real. Yep. So they're my witness at the very least. I have 2 witnesses at the very least about UFO type stuff. Could that even be related to this weird drone thing? Droid. I keep calling them droids. They are drones. They're not droids. They're not the droids you're looking for. Okay, sorry. It's real. They saw it. I saw it. It was doing the same weird, irregular pattern. Bright as heck. And then it would just kind of fade away. Like, okay, fade to black, slowly but surely. And then it would reappear somewhere else. No pattern. Very irregular. I'm telling you, and I did talk about this on a previous show when I was like, I think that was in the springtime. But I'm connecting it to all of this. Because now the feature presentation of this whole, what do they call that? Again, like interaction type of deal, encounters. I think this is our feature presentation, folks. Nordic aliens. Humanoids with stereotypical Nordic features, tall, blonde, blue eyes, and which have featured in several cases of contact. Sometimes called Space Brothers. Gettr, previously known as Pleiadians, like the Pleiades, those beautiful blue stars you see in the autumn that last during the course of winter. They move further and further west in the sky. That's kind of how the seasons work. Like, say, Capella starts appearing in the northeastern sky at the very end of August and kind of really starts becoming, you can see it more in September, in the western sky as it gets to be like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then it gets further and further gradually to the west by much later, like springtime. That star lasts most of the year. In fact, you don't really see it in like the typical evening, like 10 o'clock anymore after just in the months of pretty much June, July, and August. Otherwise, that's a very that's a pretty predominant star. It stays in the sky a lot of the times, where other stars might last just 2 or 3 months. Like Spica doesn't last very long. That's a blue star that appears in the southern sky, starts in the east. Did I say northwestern sky? Yeah, northeastern sky. But it moves further and further west as the season progresses, because that's just how it is. Again, to me, further proof that the Earth is round. Not everybody has to agree with me. I do believe the Earth is round. I am not a flat earther. Again, I will read this again. Humanoids. This is Nordic aliens. Humanoids with stereotypical Nordic features. Tall, blonde, blue eyes. Fallen angels. Fallen angels. I'm telling you, these are fallen angels. Should I say 1,000% convinced? I'm pretty close. Tall, blonde, blue-eyed. Those are fallen angels, folks. I don't think they're good angels. No, I mean maybe some of them might be good angels, but I'd say most of them are not. I don't think they're good. And I also strongly believe, this is what got me to a point of, there's a passage in the Bible that says there'll be a day when we see Lucifer for the first time, Satan for the first time. All of us, people here that have been on earth, we lived our life and we're up there and it's like the end times, all the tribulations happening. We'll see him for the first time and we'll say, is that who tormented us? Because I think everybody's thinking of this big giant gargoyle, right? Big giant gargoyle, minotaur monster, right? With horns and he's breathing fire or whatever. He's a huge dragon, a red dragon. And we're going to see this beautiful angel. Because he's still a beautiful angel. He's not good, but he's not a gargoyle. He's still like a Nordic, tall, yeah. That's my belief. That's my belief right here. And when you hear about Nordic aliens, those are angels, whether they're good or bad. Again, I believe that they're fallen angels. Because not every fallen angel is necessarily going to be a big, super powerful thing. But some of those big giant watchers and such that were maybe more powerful, like generals, kernels, whatever the heck, underneath Lucifer in the dateless past became these small g gods. The Ra and Zeus and all those creatures, all those monsters, that, like are unfortunately worshipped by, some people in like Greece and wherever else. And a lot of people believe, obviously, well, like the whole, like Hercules being the son of Zeus. Yeah, Hercules is a Nephilim. Think about it. Powerful, superhuman being. Hercules was real too. Think about it. In an ancient time, men of renown. You don't think Hercules is a man of renown? Doesn't mean he's good. He was a Nephilim giant. Nephilim giant in probably way, way back ancient Greece. It's fascinating stuff. Absolutely crazy. And we're going to get deeper into that in future episodes. But, it's just this whole alien conversation puts me into perspective of what's, in a lot of ways, what's really going on. It's deception. Is there a very likely possibility that there are other races out in the universe? Of course. But right now, I don't think that's what people are encountering. I don't think we can travel far enough. I don't think we personally, humans, have the technology for that. And I don't think God is, I don't think God's open to them visiting this planet right now. That type of thing. And maybe they don't have the technology. Some do, some don't. I don't know. But do you know what kind of technology it takes to go from, like, say, the Pleiades or something to come here? I mean, I don't either. I don't either. It's far beyond my comprehension. You pretty much have to be God, that type of thing. Now, of course, see, these beings, like Nordic aliens, the Nordic aliens, which I believe are fallen angels, and some might be good angels. I don't know. Be very careful. Test them. Don't just listen to what they say, because they might say, "Oh, we created you." That means it's the devil for sure. It's the devil. It's a devil. It's someone working under the devil, a lieutenant or whatever under the devil. Be careful. Space Brothers. Super Mario Brothers? I don't know. But yep, tall whites. Agarthians from Agartha. Okay, what's Agartha? That's another conversation here. Agartha is a legendary kingdom that is said to be located on the inner surface of the earth. Really? Interesting. It is sometimes related to the belief in a hollow earth. Oh man, look at this. See? And is a popular subject in esotericism, occultism, and the New Age. The concept was introduced by Louis Jacoliot in his 1873 book, Los Fils, I can't read it, doggone it, Los Fils Dieu, and was expanded by authors and such. So, yes, by other authors. Or fallen angels. Fallen angels. I mean, see, it's just, to me, it all comes together. It's fallen angels. Yep, Nordic aliens almost certainly are fallen angels. And again, be very careful if you ever do have an encounter with something like that. They're incredibly powerful, we know that. But the good news is, what's the best news? What's the good news? God gave us more power. Yes. You know why? In the name of Jesus, I bind you spirits. I bind you evil spirits trying to take control of me. They can't. In the name of Jesus, that type of thing. So there is that. And especially with these small little things that try to harass you. That would probably be something like a gray or the little green men type of, which is the gray basically is the little green men. It's the same thing. So it's like they put that there like it's just kind of part of the conversation. But, well, to me, that's the grays. Maybe they even wrote it, like, sometimes green. So, that's what it is. The grays and the little green men are the same thing. Same thing, at the end of the day. So, that's kind of the stereotypical alien that people talk about. And they've been seen by so many people. Me not included. I've not seen a Nordic. And I have not seen a lizard man or anything like that. Those lizard reptiloids. Reptilians and reptiloids. I've not seen those, no. But those more than likely are, well, no, they're generally in Hades, hell, whatever. Not in a good place at the end of the day. It's interesting how it's tied to ancient Egypt, like a Ra, yeah. Now, there's a lot of reptilian stuff there, too, like cobras, like cobra statues and such. Kind of scary. So, I mean, I think that's all definitely tied to, Lucifer. I don't think there's really any doubt. But I think those Nordic aliens are tied to Lucifer as well. I don't think there's any doubt. Interesting how they put like Rephaims or whatever in the cryptoid. But yeah, I mean, it's a Rephaim giant, or like a Nephilim. Same thing. Northwest Semitic term Rephait or Rephaim refers to either people of greater than average height and stature in Deuteronomy. Yeah, Deuteronomy, that's the Bible. That isn't some little myth book. Nope, that's the Bible. It's fascinating. Yep, it is. All this stuff is real, folks. All of the stuff is real. It's not right up in your face like it may have been at some time to some of these other ancient civilizations. But, well, it will be like the days of Noah. I'm sure there's creatures with this corrupted DNA that are on this planet right now, and they're doing their best to, corrupt us as well. And again, that's the biggest reason for the flood in the first place, was all this crazy stuff going on long ago with the, like I talked about Genesis 6 and the fallen angels and the Watchers and all that. So the Mount Hermon event. And of course, it's a topic that's going to be on this show forever. One way or another, we're going to talk about it. Not every episode, of course. We finally got through the election season and all that, and very happy with the results. Very happy that the cheating was stopped this time in so many forms. So that's great. Doesn't guarantee anything, but at the same time, puts things in a better place, I got to think. And we just got to keep praying and believing that God's will be done. And that more souls will be saved along the way here. So, fascinating conversation as far as I'm concerned. Wish I could have a back and forth with somebody out there about this kind of conversation, because I think it'd be a wonderful show for you to listen to. It'd be a wonderful product. But I hope at the same time I'm still bringing you a good product here today, something that you're enjoying, something that you're interested in, and that you'd be willing to tell your friends and colleagues about in the future. It'd be greatly appreciated. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm getting I was getting a sudden text from my wife. I didn't expect that, but it's nothing bad. But that kind of came out of nowhere. But nope, I mean, I hope, again, this is a interesting episode for you today. And obviously we're getting into the Christmas season and such. I've brought it up. I mean, I've mentioned how many times I the whole happy holidays thing, where they try to push away, Christmas as much as possible. And they always call everything the holidays and this. And I tend to respond with Christmas right back to them as quick as possible. Not trying to be rude, but at the same time, Christmas is Christmas, and that's what it's all about. Man, nothing on the Facebook page. So facebook.com/Freedom of Thought 1776. I believe there could possibly be something on the Instagram. There's also a TikTok now, paladino.live, where all my podcasts are all in one place there, to at least kind of share, like, yeah, the show's out, that type of thing. Click on the link and let's go listen to some podcasts. So, again, the Instagram account, if humanly possible. Thought I had something here. I apologize. Everything loads but the one you want, because when you try to switch between the different accounts, it's just like the biggest pain in the butt ever. It goes to everything but where you want to go. And I mean everything. There we go. So you have Freedom _of Thought 1776. I recently recorded a video on there. Hope you didn't mind that I did that. In Theodore Worth Park, where I thought, it looks like there could be mounds. It really does. I'm telling you, Theodore Worth Park reeks of mounds. This is close to Golden Valley. It's slightly west of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and basically the eastern side of Golden Valley in a lot of ways. Oh, it's on Facebook. That's annoying. Okay, I guess I'll go there. Because it's not really annoying. It's just that I got to figure it out here. Yeah, big comment by Mr. Mark Carlson. Love it. Thank you very much. November 27th. He was talking about the recent episode about Thanksgiving, and I'm going to do a specific episode about that lost colony that basically is, people don't talk about. I didn't learn about it until this year. My jaw dropped, like, oh man, that's fascinating. So Mark Carlson it's like Facebook kind of combined with the Instagram, because they're kind of like linked together, which is great. Mark Carlson, Really great episode, sir. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your great family. Yep, and happy Thanksgiving to you and Merry Christmas, Mark. This is Mark from Iowa, by the way. I am thankful for you and your serious commitment to the truth and to podcasting. Putting in the hours and getting your voice out there to be heard is so commendable. Thank you, Mark. I also say you do it with style. I personally appreciate your professionalism and edited vocabulary. I doubt I would listen if profanity were common. Yeah, because, like people like we had a caller he had a lot of good things to say, but kept throwing in F and C, C-U-N-T. It's like, can we not say that? He could have easily gotten his point across without doing that. Maybe a little hell and damn and maybe even an S word thrown in. It's not going to kill anybody. May not be the greatest thing ever, but it was, he's absolutely welcome on the show again today, if he wants to be. But he pretty much got pissed off and disappeared. Anyhow, he doubt he would listen if profanity were common. Yeah, because I think a lot of podcasters think that, what the heck, there's no FCC, F this, F that, come on, guys. Anyhow, there is tons and tons of content like that, yes. I mean, as good as Joe Rogan is, half of that is F-bombs, too. Joe Rogan's good, but there's too much swearing. Years ago, Joey, there was a new podcast that started up. It had great news and information that I found interesting, but after some weeks of listening, I had to say goodbye on a permanent basis. It's not that Bo can't cope with it, or that I am a prude, but society can do better, and I spent my youth talking like that with others who did. Yeah, like cursing around and shooting their mouth off, right? And, well, I am far past the need or desire to engage and talk like that. So be proud, be cool, and be working on the next episode. And yes, finally, right? Finally working on the next episode. I've been very kind of late in the process here, and I apologize. Thank you. Thankful for your work, Mark from Iowa. God bless. And yep, God bless you also, Mark from Iowa. At the end of the day, why am I saying this? Sorry. Yeah, dumb questions here. Sorry, not Mark. Not you, Mark. It's some other thing. Okay, sorry. I'm getting weird texts out of nowhere here, and I deeply apologize for that. I think that's probably the end of the comments, unfortunately, but what a great comment that was, and I thank you 1,000,000%, Mark from Iowa. Really, I mean, awesome. Somebody out there, please put a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and a review. It really helps with the algorithms. This show is pretty much still invisible in a lot of ways. I think this show, with some of the topics I've brought to the table, should reach more listeners. It truly should, and I think it's having a hard time doing that with, again, like I always call it, like weeds and redwood trees out there. Like redwood trees, like a Joe Morgan would be like a redwood tree, massive grand sequoia. My little tiny plant isn't gonna grow past that one. But then you have weeds everywhere where it's like they don't really talk about anything. Maybe they shoot their mouth off, some random person from God knows where, cursing their head off, but their show gets more listeners and more algorithms because they're funny or whatever. And then freedom of thought is just kind of completely trapped underneath like a bunch of weeds and redwood trees, like I said. So again, in order to let this show potentially peek through a little bit to reach the sun, maybe so it can grow a little bit, is algorithms. 5-star ratings, positive reviews, this type of thing. Spotify, Apple, other apps out there that allow it. But Spotify and Apple right now, I'd say, are at the top. Google Podcasts no longer exists, but there is like YouTube Podcast, I believe it's called. But it's on YouTube as well in podcast form. What the heck is it called again? It's YouTube. I think it is like YouTube Podcasts. YouTube Music, YT Music, YouTube Music. Yep, so it's on there. Obviously, other areas like what's it called? iHeartRadio. Player FM is a pretty prominent one. They're pretty good. Pocket Casts. There's so many more. I mean, there's like a million apps out there. Well, not a million, but there's a bunch. Castbox. Obviously Spotify is, I mentioned that 6 times already. Sorry. Odyssey, Audible. They're basically side by side when you look at those. So, yeah, a 5-star rating on any and all of those really helps the show. Just thank you. Those of you that could please do that. And completely 1,000% optional. Any donations to help this show in the future, to help this show grow, as small as 99 cents. It could be a one-time donation. It could be a monthly donation, 99 cents up to $4.99, whatever you want to do. It's anywhere from 99 cents to $4.99. It could be one time. It could be monthly. It could be a couple months in a row, and maybe you don't want to for now. That type of thing. But those of you that have, just God bless you so much. Yep. So if you like what I'm doing here and you'd like to see this show grow, the donations are greatly appreciated. Again, they are 1,000% optional. I'm not saying donate, please, or I'm going to do it, or I'm going to go off air. I'm going to go off air next week if I'm going to go off air if I don't get enough donations. No, I'm not going to go off air. What for? Why do I have to go off air? That type of thing. So, but it would help the show grow. Yes, it will help the show grow. The only reason I'd go off is I feel like I'm literally not talking to anyone. But even just a comment by Mark tells me I am talking to somebody. So I have no reason to go off air. That type of thing. So it's, that type of thing. I'm not on shortwave radio or anything cool like that. Like that, you actually really absolutely need funds to continue. Truth to Ponder, I strongly commend what he does. Bob Bierman, amazing job. It'd be cool to get on shortwave radio, but I'll be honest, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to that right now. So maybe someday, because that's a lot harder to restrict. In fact, you can't restrict shortwave radio. It's just that, you have to listen at a certain time, though, sometime, like when it's actually airing. Whereas podcast form, there it is. It's just that unfortunately there's a possibility an Apple, whoever, can restrict you if you say something they don't like. So, yeah, there's that. Well, I think I've talked enough. I really appreciate those of you listening. Please share this with your friends out there. If you found this interesting, share it with your friends because I think it's worth the listen. I want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas. I'll probably have another Christmas special type of episode coming up in the not too distant future because Christmas is not that far away anymore. Beautiful synthetic tree in front of me with the lights flickering, ornaments, and the lights also going across the small entertainment center, holding up the HDTV with the Buffalo Bills leading the Detroit Lions in the background. That's a good thing for Viking fans anyway. We need the Lions to not win this one. But with that said, I go into sports. For those of you that listen to Purple Mafia, don't worry, that show's coming Tuesday morning at the very least. So with that said, this show obviously more important, I would have to say, than the Vikings or the Timberwolves or the Wild or whoever, or even, obviously Video Game Flashback, which is a retro video game show out there as well. That's a lot of fun to do. Sorry, I'm kind of babbling here at the end, but I just want to wish you again Merry Christmas as we're heading closer and closer to it. Happy Hanukkah. Maybe you have maybe you're more on the Jewish side of the equation. So just in case you're listening, Happy Hanukkah. With that said, thank you so much for listening. Tell your friends. You can also call into the show with a audio submission by using your smart device and send it to paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com. I will then convert it into an MP3 file thanks to cloudconvert.com. With that said, God bless you, God bless the United States of America, and Merry Christmas.